Good morning, our faithful listeners and followers, and welcome to our sixth podcast in a row. I feel like I need a medal.
Is it 6 or is it 7?
6 or 7, don't quote me.
I think it's 7.
That's pretty good innings though. That's 7 weeks of podcasts,
7 weeks of consistency.
even with being in hospital.
Pretty good going.
Yeah. So we've got a pretty cool topic today. We are going to step away from the photo side of things and we're going to be talking about all things video. So this is where this is your roots. You love your video, don't you?
I love doing video. So, story is we actually started off as a videography company, didn't we?
We did actually, yeah.
We didn't actually start doing photography till after.
Well, we had a marketing company and that's where we started doing content creation, and then we were doing a lot of video, and we got asked by someone to do a wedding, and you used your video camera to shoot the wedding, and you loved it so much, and that's how we got started.
And it's gone from there, hasn't it?
It really has. And now we have our own, we actually have a videographer manager that heads that all up for us. That's Huey. And Alex and I tend to do more on the photo side of things. But we still watch all the videos that come through, and we always work with our video team. So one of the cool things about booking us is that you get a team of photographer and a videographer that are used to working together. Like any people, we've always got things we can work on, but for the most part our teams work well, they communicate well, and they know how to shoot all the pretty photos and video.
We do lots of training sessions, don't we, and bring people together to make sure we're all on the same page.
We do, and we have monthly competitions for the best video.
I'm going to win this one.
He's so determined.
You wait till you see mine.
Yeah, but you haven't seen all the stuff Huey's been doing on his weddings.
No.
I'll tell you, I think that James and Ryan are dark horses. I think Ryan's been at home squirreled away with his editing, knocking out a video.
We'll see.
So why video? That's a really good question. I often see a lot of posts in Facebook about,
Is it worth having it?
Is it worth having it? Do I need a videographer? Can I get someone to record on my phone? So let me just start by saying, and I get this a lot with photos too, can I just get people to take photos on my phone? Sometimes my phone photos look better than the professional photos. And you know what? Sometimes they might, but there's a reason for that. iPhones especially are built with 2 sensors, so they can expose for the face, they can expose for the background. So you can take a photo on an iPhone and you get pretty much everything is exposed. But the problem you get is the quality of the photo. So it may look great on your phone, it might look great on Facebook, but if you want to print it out, put it on a canvas, make cards from it, you're losing quality because it's
12 megapixels.
It's 12 megapixels. So,
which is quite low.
So my camera is 42 megapixel.
Yeah, they do print okay. And you've got to think as well, sensor size.
Yeah. So the sensor is a bit of glass that the image passes through as well. So, and then obviously iPhones don't have variable lenses, which we have, just knocking things over. So we can get different effects using different lenses. Same thing with video. Yes, you can record on an iPhone, but can you edit it? Can you put your audio over it? Can you do those trick shots? Can you do focus pulls? All the stuff like that our team has spent literally years learning, shooting and practicing goes into that.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, go on.
I'm going to kind of disagree with you because I hate iPhone photos. Like when you see an iPhone photo online, you pretty much know they've taken it off their phone, and there's a huge difference in quality.
Yeah.
And same with video too. Massive difference in quality, and it just comes down to technology, sensor size. I mean, this is small enough to fit in your pocket. There's no way it can match up to...
I'm not saying the quality is the same. I'm saying that, yes, you could use it, but what you're sacrificing is the quality.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So a lot of the cameras we use they've been Netflix approved, whatever that means.
So
but that means you can
shoot a Netflix video movie on
yeah.
it. Yeah. So, and then audio is another big thing too. Like listening to your vows, it's great to get photos, but you can't remember what you said. You can't remember the words the celebrant spoke to you. You can't remember the blessing Uncle Steve gave you. There's so much capacity there that you lose those memories over time. You've got the photos, you look at them and they'll bring back memories, but a video captures those memories in time. So I feel like they're both as equally important. And we've worked really hard to try and make it affordable for brides to have both photo and video at their wedding. And just keep in mind, like video process is a lot different to photos. There's a lot more time involved in editing. There's even the shooting. Like when you're setting up for video, there's a lot more things you have to juggle. I feel as a photographer, I probably have the easier job than say Huey, because I can rock up to a ceremony 5 minutes before it starts. All I got to do is make sure my cameras are on and exposed properly and I'm good to go. Whereas Huey needs a good like half an hour to 40 minutes before the ceremony, get his tripods up, get the sound sorted, make sure I've got the angles right. So there's a lot more involved in video. So therefore, that's why video does take a lot longer, but it's most definitely worth it.
That's right.
I think we should hear from somebody that knows more about video.
Who's that? No one knows more than me.
Oh, I'd be surprised. Off you go. Bye. It's the man, the myth, the legend. It's Huey.
Hey, how you going?
Oh, good. Do you see what I did there? I just booted him. We've done quite a few weddings now.
Yeah, quite a few.
And I know when we first started, we've had to work a lot on making sure we become quite seamless in what we do, learning to understand the client
Yep.
and that. So I know there's a lot of legwork that goes into video behind the scenes. So more so, I think, than video. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that process?
Like the whole process. Yeah, so usually, let's say for example on a 10-hour video, we're pretty much shooting the whole day.
Yeah.
So at the end of the wedding, that's probably like nearly 8 hours of footage that we
Yep.
kind of have to kind of skim through. And we don't choose any random clips. We'll only choose the best clips.
Yep.
That shows the best parts of your day, like your cake cutting and your first
Yep.
dance and, our first look. But, there's a lot of clips that we have to kind of go through. And then once we choose those clips, find the right music,
Yep.
Unless you guys have your own request, which is fine. I'd say music's the hardest part.
Yeah, because you kind of edit to music, don't you?
You have to edit
Yeah.
to the music, and you got to make sure it fits with the day,
Yep.
and it also fits with the clients, and
Yep.
it meets their needs. Once we do that, we start compiling and edit the clips to the music, and
Yep.
then we got to go into each clip, and then we have to color grade it.
Yep.
So it does take a long process, and then also if you guys have vows, usually we don't use the whole vows, we just choose the best parts of it.
Or speeches.
Or speeches,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's a long process.
It is a huge process.
It is a long
so
process.
that's
I'm waiting for AI though.
yeah.
That's it.
We already have that with photos, so I don't use it.
Mhm.
But I can see where it'd be really handy
Oh,
with
yeah.
video.
Yeah.
So in that process, and now you can understand that, there's a lot I think that you could do on your wedding day to make that process a bit easier.
Yep.
So things like audio, so like for example speeches.
Mhm.
I know that it's really hard to get the audio for the speeches if people are doing this. Passing the mic around.
Yeah. And but I think we cover that pretty well as a team where the videographer will always talk to the MC to make sure that speeches are on time or to kind of confirm what time speeches are happening. So
Yeah.
then, me and the team will spend 5-10 minutes before speeches are actually happening to set up all the tripods
Yep.
to make sure that audio is connected and turned on.
Yep.
Because that's one thing with audio. You can't fake it. You can't replace it. Once that's gone, that's
It's
gone.
That's why it's really important that your MC sticks to your run sheet. I
Yep.
cannot stress that to you enough. And we have been caught a couple of times where the MC's kind of like YOLO'd it and just went, hey, we're going to do speeches now. And we haven't had that time to set the audio up.
No.
So,
But-
yeah.
Working as a team, if the photographer's on the ball, they would normally grab the audio recorder
Yeah.
and then, while I'm setting up the camera and
Yeah.
then, yeah.
And the on-camera audio is quite good too on our cameras.
Yep.
As Alex said, we use the Sony FX series, so the onboard audio is really good with that. So if perchance, as long as you're there and you're
Mhm.
rolling, I think the worst one we ever had was we were actually at the back eating and we're told on our break, and we told the MC to come and grab us if something was happening. And the next minute, Zach's like, hey, they've cut the music. And they were literally cutting the cake. Do you remember that? And you had to like leg it to get your
Yep.
camera.
It's happened a couple of times actually,
Yeah.
where the MC was the band
Oh, right.
and they were having dinner as well.
Yeah.
And then they decided to do speeches by themselves.
Yeah. The band, everyone was out the back eating.
Mhm.
So, yeah. And before, like, we've had people, like, say stuff about our breaks. Think of it this way. If we get a break, you get better photos and video. Because by the time, especially on a 10-hour day, we hit that 6, 7 o'clock mark,
Yep.
just having that 10, 15 minutes to sit down and just have a moment makes the rest of the night a lot easier
Yep.
for us. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
making
usually our breaks are in line with
all the time.
with
Yeah.
in line with main meals anyway.
Yeah.
So we don't really take footage of people eating. It's not really flattering.
Yeah.
But yeah, we normally eat when
Yeah, when they
when you guys eat. So
I
we're
think
not missing anything.
the one that
important.
happened with us with the cake, they actually ran speeches through because they were late, so they did 24 speeches through main meals. So we weren't able to have our break during main meals.
You also did talk to the MC,
I did.
and then they forgot. But it's a wedding day. It does happen. There's a lot of things that do shift up and down. Not everything's going to run to perfection.
And that's okay because, like, especially the video guys, they're so well equipped to deal with that. Like, you're probably the most unflappable person I know out of our whole team. I just managed to stay completely calm.
I have a
everything
GoPro on
is-
my head, so I don't have a GoPro on my head, but I should actually.
It was a really good backup plan.
Yeah.
The rest of us like, oh my goodness, and Kiwi's just like, look, let's just get in, sort it, get it done. So Stephen's a bit like that too. So it's good to have people like that on the team because like wedding day things do happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's so much around video. I know Huey and I were just talking off camera earlier, and we are just saying about how like you'll see those really super pretty wedding videos online, and there's so much that goes into it to make those videos look like that.
Yep.
Like, there's like where you're getting ready.
It is, yeah.
Color,
Mm-hmm.
your decor, timing. There's just like, and it's crafted, isn't it, to look
Yeah.
like that. From like, they start planning that like 6 to 8 months,
Yep.
if not more, before the wedding.
Yeah, that's it.
So, like getting ready, that's a really good part of the video.
It is. And it all comes down to like location and timing.
Yep.
If you have a beautiful location where you guys are getting ready, you're gonna get great photos and you're gonna
Yep.
get great video.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with doing it at home, which is fine, but you also got to take into account how clean your house is, how many people's going to be there.
Yeah.
The more people around us, then it's going
More
to be a little bit
noise.
harder.
Yep.
More noise, people getting into the shot when they're not supposed to be. But it happens.
It does.
Yeah. So
And if we have to spend time cleaning things up and moving furniture, that's less time we have for shooting.
yeah,
And that's happened too. So think about it like if you're choosing an Airbnb, look for somewhere that is like nice white light that's very spacious. Like white walls are really great for lighting. It's you actually made a really good point too about venues and orange lights.
Yep.
So that really affects the quality of the video, doesn't it?
It does, because you kind of just look really sick.
Yeah, you look like washed out and really
Yeah,
kind
and
of yellow.
like we can fix it in post, but if there's a lot of yellow light, then there's only so much we can do in post.
Yeah.
But I do understand that some venues, that's their lighting, and there's really nothing can be done with that. But we do try and fix everything on the day
Yeah.
in camera to try and get the best possible result,
So you don't
and
have to
fix
do
it
as
in
much
post.
work,
But
yeah.
we try and fix it in post as well.
Yeah.
But lighting is very important when it comes to photos and video.
Yeah.
Same with location.
Yeah.
I was going to say something else. I completely forgot.
So well,
I don't like being on camera. I'd rather be
and
behind
Alex just told him this morning. He's like, "Hey, dude, you're on the podcast today."
Yep.
Lured him here under false pretenses. So lighting. So we get the whole fairy light vibe. We love it. We think it looks amazing, but it is hard to shoot. It is. I feel like fairy tale lighting should be saved for parts of your video, like maybe an outdoor
Outside.
area or a first dance. But having your main reception under just nothing but fairy lights, it will affect the quality of your video, because it means we have to bring in video lights, we have to bring the spotlight in, and then we're going to have to set that up. So you're going to see that, like, it's a different type of lighting, a different type of feel. They could have really, another option is to have great down lights, which could be turned on during the formalities. So we get the, nice white down lights, then they have fairy lights for the first dance.
Yeah. I want to go back on what we were talking about the bride and groom getting ready.
Yep.
And like I understand that sometimes that's not the footage you want, and you kind of want to concentrate more on the reception part, which is fine. But I think it's good to know that, you know, that your location does dictate how good the footage will be.
Yeah.
Not saying we can't take good photos and videos at home, we definitely
Yeah.
can, but it does play a role in that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing too is how many people are in your ceremony venue, as opposed to how much your ceremony venue can hold. So if you were getting married in like a chapel or some kind of like structure that just has an aisle and there's not much side access, and it's an 80-person chapel and you've got 81 people, we're very limited then on our camera placement and what we can do there. So it will look different because a lot more will be handheld.
Yep.
Because we're not going to be able to put our normal amount of static cameras up. We'll have to put a static camera up in the aisle, which will then affect photos. So there's a lot more around that. And we've had, remember that one we did where they had like 120 people in like the 80-person room, and there was just a wall of people.
Yep.
We just had to, we as a rule, we don't normally cross like the front of the ceremony. We try and go around, but for that wedding, we were just like having to cross the front because there's just far too many people for the space.
Yep, that's right.
You know, so
I much prefer outside, like outdoor weddings.
or open air chapel that has open sides.
Yeah, it just gives us a bit more movement during ceremony.
Yep.
We don't want to walk down the aisle because we're gonna get in the way of all the cameras. So
Yep.
then we have to kind of walk around. And if it's a really tight chapel with a whole bunch of people, then we're very restricted on
Yeah.
our movement. So it's tough.
It is tough.
Yeah.
And not to say it doesn't work, but less people.
Yeah,
So we've got room that we can put the tripods over some of the pews.
yeah. Well, James and I did one on the weekend, and it was great
Yeah.
because there was
Not as many people.
not as many people,
Yeah.
and we had heaps of movement. So yeah.
So those are things to think about. They all affect the quality. We do shoot a bit of family photos, but as a rule, I think that's your time for packing the cameras up,
Yep.
getting ready for reception.
I'll still grab some shots, just as a backup.
Yep.
You know, especially if the bride and groom mention, oh, we really want grandma in the shot, or we want
Yep.
a few special people, then I'll make a note to
Yep.
get those shots.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's about it. So we're definitely going to go into more detail later at a later date. But if you're on the fence about a wedding video, yes, get it. If you are wanting a killer wedding video that looks absolutely amazing, have a listen back through some of the tips that we've given you. If you're a future bride and you've got video in your package, I'm sure at some stage you'll be chatting with
Yep.
Huey, because so Huey's our video manager, and then he has a team of videographers underneath him too. So we'll let you know next week who won the competition. Have you got your video done?
hmm
Yeah. Which wedding did you do?
I'm just waiting for my AI to finish it. I'm kidding.
Which one did you choose?
Yeah, you might have to wait and see.
So we also had a flat lay competition too. So it's been great for me because Huey's been doing the flat lay. He sets it all up and I just come in and shoot it. So that's been a good blessing. Anyway, guys.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on at such
No-
short
no
notice.
problem.
Really appreciate that.
Thanks for having me on.
That's my pleasure. And we'll see you guys next time.